allow duplicates, but we still wanted a way to uniquely identify them all. Let's go to old IMDb and look up, how about not an apostrophe there at the end? Let's look up Alfred Hitchcock. Let's look at his filmography. As a director, of course. Let's go back here. Here's the 37 steps. Let's look at my director. Can I not? Is there not like a page for this? This is annoying. Yeah, I'm not sure I see it on this stupid version. Point is, he remade one of his own films. He's not the only person to do that either. So, yes, we learned how to spell. Thank you. So it might be worth having the ID somewhere in the DOM so that we could reference it. Get what I mean? So it's in the array now, but it's not reflected on the LI. One way we could do that is with an actual ID. Funny little rule about HTML IDs. They should not start with a number. They have to start with a letter. So we could say flick dash and then the number, and that's fine. And then if we wanted to find that, we could break that string apart and try to find just the numerical portion. Or we could take this opportunity to learn about a different thing. Data attributes. So this is another, I'm pretty sure it was HTML5. HTML data attributes. Using data attributes. I'm not sure it's going to tell me which version this is, but yeah, HTML5 data attributes. So here's what they are, and you don't need to write this down. This is just an example. But like if I want a data attribute on this div, what that means is an attribute that begins data dash something. So like data hyphen ID equals 4, something like that. So that's a data attribute. So there's a new rule in HTML5 that says you can make up whatever attribute you want, just prefix it with data dash, and we'll make it available to you in a pretty convenient way. So let's see what that is. We'll be the judge of how easy that is. So when we actually add the flick and handle submit, we build the darn list, or list item rather. So it's the list item we want to stick the data ID on, right? Right now we're setting its text content. But we also want to change that. So I think very briefly the other day in answer to a question, I might have shown you set attribute. Can't remember for sure. So one way we could do that is just using set attribute, which lets you set any attribute. And you pass it a string for which attribute, so like data ID, comma, and then the value you want. So in this case, flick.id. We're not actually doing it this way, so you don't need to write it down. So that's one way we could do it. But data attributes are kind of special. So if we do actually stick one on one of these, so let's get our UL here because that's easy to target, and say data breakfast equals, let's see, it was banana nut something is what you had. Banana nut bread. So now let's refresh our page. Let's find that thing. Here's the UL right there. Now you may remember from the other day, if you inspect an element, it's going to make it available as $0 in the console. So let's go to the console. Let's type $0, confirm that that's the UL. Yep. $0 dot data. Ooh, dataset. That sounds interesting. And dataset is this object that has a key breakfast with that value. Now notice it's not just any object. It's something called a DOM string map. But it looks very object-y. So I bet I could change that. Or probably even add brand new data attributes. So let's say $0.0.dataset.lunch equals, what's for lunch today, Ben? Pop-Tart. Let's look at $0 again. There it is, data lunch. And we just said .lunch, right? Yeah, cool. So that means I don't need data breakfast on here. Item.dataset.id equals the actual ID of this thing. Since we passed in the flick and not just the flick name, we can say flick.id, right? Cool. Not difficult. Good thing to learn about. Want to learn more about them? Just check out the page. And you see we have DOM string map. If you want to know more about how that differs from any old object, you can see it has some extra methods like has data attribute to see if it's there, remove data attribute, that kind of stuff. Cool. So add a data attribute to each list item, or add the ID to the list items data set. Groovy. I guess we didn't actually check to make sure it worked, did we? Let's refresh. Blah, 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 blah. Let's check the middle one here. Ooh, we have two ASDs. Inspect it. Data ID equals 2. Yay, it worked. We don't have to undo that.